Hi, and welcome to the Dingers podcast. I'm your host, Mitch. With me is Jeff, Kevin, and Jake, my boys. How are we feeling after trouncing the White Sox today in a spring training game? You feeling good?
Oh, yeah.
Feeling great.
Oh, yeah. Offensive explosion today.
Season's over. We won the Crosstown Classic.
Yep.
Right.
In Arizona.
It's a W for the season. Chalk it up.
Yep.
Right. Madrigal hit a bomb against the Sox. Gotta love
Nicky
it.
Barrels.
Yep.
It's a
Nicky
new
Barrels.
nickname, apparently.
Yeah.
Got some magic in that bat.
Jeffrey, you are just rocking the new haircut. That is clean shave on the sides.
Oh,
Ooh.
my.
Look at that.
Oh,
We
my.
got like a mini mohawk going on
Yeah,
there.
I like it. Makes the ladies swoon.
I'm defying my age. I'm a different kind of teenager. I'm in my 40s. So Jake, how are we doing tonight?
You know, Jeff, I'm feeling great after watching the offensive onslaught that the Cubs put on against the Sox today. You know, we were talking about before the show, after Smiley gave up some early runs, I was feeling not so optimistic. And then the offense just came out of nowhere. Small ball. We had a couple home runs. We had an opposite field dinger by Wilson that looked great. We had a 3-run bomb by Nicky Barrels that proved all the haters wrong. Am I missing one?
Ian Happ with a pump.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Happ took that way
epic.
deep.
Yep.
Yeah, that was massive. So, I mean,
And
hey,
two
Happ,
hits by Seiya.
Yeah,
Mhm.
two Seiya singles up the middle looked great. And Happ went 3 for 3 with a walk. So, I think he's, hopefully starting to get into a groove here before things start off. So, Jeff, I'm feeling really good, man.
Just hang
How are
on.
you doing?
I'm all right. I'm not bad. Don't get too excited about Ian Happ. He hasn't made it back to the cold, windy city yet.
That is true.
Give
That
it
is true.
time.
I got to send him a Milwaukee heated jacket to keep him warm out on the field.
Yep.
There you
Right.
go.
Kevin, what do you know?
Well, speaking of heated jackets, we had some outdoor soccer games this weekend, which were really cold, and my wife just got one of those heated vests, and she wore it the entire weekend. She only took it off when she recharged it, even when we were indoors. So it was a cold one for us. We did get to watch some soccer from inside a vehicle, which was helpful, but it was pretty cold and not the best weather. Mitch, I heard you might have had some outdoor events this weekend.
Yeah, we got outside a little bit. Cannon played some baseball outside, and we had a good time. I'm just getting pumped for this week, man. This week, I am so excited to be able to watch baseball, like actual real baseball. Just can't wait.
You guys going to work Thursday, or you guys both getting the flu?
No, we'll be at work. We
we'll just
tied
watch
into the
games there.
curriculum.
I mean, I've watched games there the last 2 or 3 years. I remember just turning on and making sure everybody was there to watch Ian Happ's lead-off home run from a couple years ago.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't paid attention to the weather. Is it supposed to rain here on Thursday? Because if it is, I'm totally going to take a vacation day
Oh, yeah.
and pray for no rain in Chicago.
Yeah, you don't want to double book.
Yep.
That's right.
Well, Dingers is proudly part of the ChyCitySports.com podcasting network. Remember, we're free and available wherever you get your podcasts. We're available on YouTube, so subscribe to the Chi City Sports YouTube channel where you can get extra Dinger content and join the conversation. Follow us on Twitter at Dinger Cubs. We love interacting with you, the fans, and tonight we want to interact with you more than ever. We're gonna make this gonna be a fun episode, a prediction episode. We're gonna make some crazy predictions on home runs. We're gonna make most starts at shortstop, most starts in center field. Who's gonna get the most of the time at DH? Most RBIs. You name it, we're gonna be covering it tonight, and it should be a fun little podcast. So if you guys have any comments or who you think, drop them in the comments on YouTube and on Facebook. We'd love to hear from you. But tonight, I want to introduce to you. I know Jeffrey's first girlfriend was named Dorothy, but I have another Dorothy, and that is Dorothy's Toppling Goliath. She's probably a little bit better looking and probably a lot nicer and a little bit sweeter to the taste than Jeffrey's first girlfriend, but
Don't make fun of my barbell.
pick yourself up some Toppling Goliath beer wherever you can get it. Go to TG Brews, and you can find a beer finder where you can find where you can get yourself some Toppling Goliath beer. So there you go. But let's get into some predictions, boys. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Let's start out with the fun ones. We're going to start out with the hitting predictions. Let's start out hot with most home runs. Jeffrey, who do we got from you for the most dingers on the team?
I'm going with Clint Frazier.
Ooh, interesting.
Clint.
Bold.
You know, I like that, Jeff.
I'm gonna stick with the ginger.
There you go. You got to stick together, you two.
That's right.
Yeah.
Couple beautiful men, manly beards. He's going long all summer.
Yeah, I like it. I like the pick. It's a bold prediction, but I like it.
Jake, who do you got?
Yeah, you know, it's funny. Jeff's guy kind of looks like my guy when he steps into the box. A couple times I've been like, wait a minute. Nope, that's not Hap. That's Frazier. It's the beard. It's the beard for me. They got a similar build. It's the batting stance I'm able to differentiate. But Ian Happ is my guy. I think if Happ can pick up where he left off last season, you know, I'm part of the home run club with Connect Roasters. So selfishly, I wanted to hit dingers so I get $5 off of product. No free ads. But
Nice.
I really believe in Hap. I really think he's gonna sticking in corner outfield. I think he's gonna take the pressure off him defensively. He's gonna have a big offensive season.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I was debating picking Hap. He's on my sheet. He's in parentheses behind the guy I did go with, and I went with Patrick Wisdom. I think he's gonna extend on that number he hit last year. He's got a whole season to do it. Looking good. I like it. It's got the swagger, got the chains going around the bases. I want to see it every time.
Well, I am taking your captain and my captain and the captain that should be the Chicago Cubs captain, and that is Wilson Contreras. He's going to play a full season for Chicago. He's going to get extended, and he's going to hit dongs all year long.
So I sure hope you're right about all those predictions.
And I'm predicting that he's going to get 38.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Ooh.
I would like that.
He gets to ride the DH spot when he's not starting.
Yeah.
It could be helpful.
Well, he's going to be pissed the first half of the year. And then after he stays with the Cubs and they maybe give him an extension, then he's going to be really happy. And so you're going to get both sides of the emotions of Contreras. And emotions drive Contreras, and that's what we're looking for. So Contreras is my guy. Most starts at shortstop. Jeffrey, who do you got?
Oh, boy. You're jumping around on me here. Oh, nope.
Right in order.
I did it right in order.
So take your chicken scratch, throw it under a magnifying glass.
Do you need me to tell you who the options are, Jeff?
How do you know it's chicken scratch?
I had my...
Throw them out. I mean, Horner.
Horner?
Oh, Daddy likey. Nice.
Yeah.
Nico.
Yeah, any rationale there, or you're just feeling it?
Horner.
Yeah. I agree. I agree with you, Jeff. I think it's going to be Nico. I think he's shown really well defensively in camp. I think the concerns were over his arm, and I think he's proven us wrong. There are times it's not a rocket like Javi had, and we got spoiled for years. We can't compare him to Javi, but I think played just fine. I mean that play that he made today. I don't know if you guys saw. He was falling.
Yeah.
He slid in the grass. And he still made a cannon of a throw to first base. It was late by like a half step.
Well,
but,
even the play the other day.
Assuming healthy, gets the most starts.
The play.
Yeah, the jump throw.
Throw. Jeter. He jetered it. Yeah, it was amazing play.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going
Nico's
3
my
for
pick,
3.
Kevin.
Yeah, I'm going 3 for 3. I'm going Nico as well. Especially seeing his defensive plays he's made so far this year. His like you say, it's not quite a rocket, but it gets to first. It's not errant. It's getting to first base. I think he's going to be fantastic, and I think we're going to want his bat in the lineup, and I think that's going to keep him in there along with quality defensive play.
Yeah.
What do you think?
We're going to sweep. We're going to go all Nico. I think
Nice.
Nico's going
I
to
love
get
it.
probably 80% of the starts there. And I think you're going to see his defense only get better as the season goes on. When he first got put there, when Hobby got injured, went down, and he got thrown in there, and you could just see the nerves, and you saw him kind of relax when he slid back over to second. And even last year when he got thrown back into short, you could tell his glove was kind of stiff. A lot of balls just hit, and it didn't feel like it was smooth. And what I'd like to see this spring is you see the smooth Nico back out there making plays, relaxed. And so, yeah, Nico's going to get most of the starts at shortstop. Another place that we have a big discussion of who's going to get playing time, most starts in center field. Jeffrey.
All right, this was hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it was.
There's a Swiss Army knife out there for center field. I'm going to go with Hermosillo.
Close.
Interesting.
Yeah. I
like it.
agree,
That's a little
Jeff.
bold.
I think. What do you think? I feel like you got more to say about it.
Well, I mean, because we don't have a dedicated center fielder anymore.
Yeah.
Hayward could play some. Ian Happ could play some. Ortega. I mean, there's 4 guys right there. I just named off the. So I don't know. What do you think, Jake?
I agree. I think Hermosillo is. I think he's the bold prediction. I think realistically, I feel like it'll probably be Ortega. But I also see if Ortega comes on strong, if we have a losing record in the first half, teams want a left-handed bat that can play, a decent center field. And I think there's a chance that I've heard rumblings, like people saying that maybe Ortega is someone that gets moved. I think I think Hermosillo deserves the run. I'd like to see him out there. He's looked good in spring overall, and you can tell the guy, I mean, he wants it. He's out there and he is hustling. And when he makes a mistake, he's hard on himself, which sucks. You only want guys to be so hard on themselves, but you can tell that he wants the position. So I'm going to go with Hermosillo. Kevin?
Of all the stuff we were predicting today, this was the one that I was the most negative on. I guess I want to say negative. I was looking at all the numbers. I was bouncing back and forth, and honestly, I came back to I think Hayward is going to get the most starts. We're not going to necessarily want to see it, but I think he gets the most starts because I think he gets a bit of a runway. He's going to start against a lot of the right-handers at first before they'll give Ortega the time. So I think he's going to get the most starts, unfortunately.
Yeah.
What do you think, Mitch?
Well, I really wanted to go with Ortega. I want to see him busted out, and I've liked what I've seen out of him in spring training. I feel like he's put some good at bats together, even against lefties, which he was horrible at last year. But I don't think he's going to get the majority. I think they're going to, like you said, maybe try to trade him. But I'm going to go with Brennan Davis.
Ooh,
interesting. Most starts? More
It's
starts.
a dark horse.
So I think the second half of the season, if he gets traded, or when Davis gets called up, because I think Davis is going to start hot and he's going to have a good season, the whole second half of the year, he's going to be locked in, penciled in to center field for the Chicago Cubs and end up getting more starts with your Chicago Cubs.
Can we highlight Eric's comment really quick? Because I want to talk about this for a second. I want to talk about your prediction, Kevin. So Eric Scher says on Facebook, I agree with you, Kevin, on the most starts in center on Hayward. You said Hayward, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
And I think you're 100% correct, because I think they're going to give him a little bit of extended run and kind of see like
which Hayward it is.
Stick. Yeah, if he can stick, if the offense is there, and they're going to extend that leash too far.
Yep.
I don't think he's going to be DFA'd.
No.
And they're going to kind of play Rossi probably still remembers when Hayward put him up in nice hotels during his final season. And there's that weird, we know Hayward's a good teammate. It's going to be too awkward to sit him on the bench. They're not going to have the guts to do it. So yeah, I think Kevin and our commenter Eric here, I think you guys are unfortunately correct. Mitch, I like the dark horse pick in Davis, though.
Yeah, I'm more banking on the second half of the season, him just getting
Yeah.
penciled in there every day.
Yeah.
And
So that's the episode, folks. Jake agrees with me. Hope you had a good one.
No, we got more.
We
Most
got plenty more.
guy used most at DH. Who do you got there, Jeffrey?
Schwindel. Going with Frank the Tank Schwindel.
Ooh,
So
then
are you picking him because you think Rivas takes all the starts at first base, or majority of the starts at first base?
Because you are getting some brownie points with Jake if that's what you're doing.
Yeah,
Right.
100%.
No, I just was clueless who was going to be DH. I'm thinking in my head, well, they're going to spell Willie quite a bit. He's probably going to be there a lot. Clint Frazier's probably going to be there a lot.
Yeah.
I'm like, I haven't wrote down Frank Schwindel's name yet. I'm going to put that name in there.
It's a
Nice.
it's a good guess. I mean, I think it's a good bet. I would say for me it was between Schwindel and Frazier. I chose Frazier. Who's our new hitting coach? Is his name George Brown? Is that it?
Yes.
And I think it's George Brown. And I read a great rundown in Bleacher Nation today about the changes that he and Frazier made before the lockout hit, and they're feeling really high on Clint Frazier. And I think it's clear. Frazier said that he feels like this is his first time playing baseball, which is pretty cool. I mean, like, he's broken out of whatever shell that he was in, the dark place that he was in the Bronx, and
it's called a Yankee uniform.
Yeah, that's a dark shell. That's a
Those
very
are not
dark shell.
pinstripes. Those are prison bars.
Cubs were the first team to do pinstripes for what it's worth.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Kevin,
Absolutely.
DH.
I agree with you, Jake. I wrote down Contreras at first, and then I got to thinking about it a little more, and I think he'll get spelled some there, but I think Frazier gets the majority of the starts, especially to begin the season. Considering the crowded outfield, I think he's gonna see DH the most. And I like that how he bats, how he stands in the box. His presence in there has completely changed, and it's a lot of fun to watch. I think that's where he's going to be.
Me right into a sick day on Thursday.
There you go. So when I was younger, I dated this redhead, and afterwards I said I would never fall in love with another redhead. And I have broke that this year. I am fully in love with Clint Frazier, and Clint Frazier is my pick for the most times used at the DH, only because I believe that Hap is going to break out also, and he's going to get a majority of the time in left field. And so you want Frazier's bat in there because he's also going to break out offensively. Yeah. And so those two are going to kind of trade left field, but you're going to see more of Clint Frazier just because I think Hap is probably a little bit better as a defender. And so you're going to see more Clint Frazier in there at DH.
How exciting is it to actually be able to talk about the possibilities of who could play where this year?
Before, it was like people stuck in their positions besides Bryant. Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
But Mitch, the point you just made is exactly why I almost chose Hap for most starts in center field, because they want to get both their bats in the lineup.
Yep. I had him in there too.
This Clint Frazier love, this is what we got to clip for this episode.
Yeah.
I want to be the Clint Frazier podcast.
Yep.
Let's do it.
Fully on. All right. Most RBIs on the team. Jeffrey, can you read your writing?
Yes.
Get after those ribbies.
And also, I got so excited writing this name once, I wrote it again. I'm on with Frank the Tank.
Frank the Tank again.
Yeah.
I like it.
He's kind of a strawberry blonde like me, so.
I don't know if he's a strawberry blonde.
Eric messaged that he thinks that Frank the Tank is going to have the most home runs with Wisdom in a close second. So that's home runs.
Ooh.
But RBIs, so you picked Frank for RBIs?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Ribbies, as they're affectionately known in the dugout.
Jake? I am looking at roster resource right now, and it is predicting Hap will bat cleanup with Ortega, Madrigal, and Contreras ahead of him. And I like Hap cleaning up the bases, putting up the most RBI this year. That's my pick.
Nice. I agreed with Jeff on this one. I went with Frank the Tank. I It was similar. I left the RBIs for later after I was making my predictions, and I came back and I kind of realized, like, I don't have Schwindel down for much. And I just had to think, I'm going to see that arm pump, the tank shot happen. We're going to get that for RBIs. What do you think, Mitch?
Well, so he's your favorite podcaster, and he's my favorite podcaster. And he's going to get some pumps in there.
I don't
so those
play
are
in the majors, boys.
He's going to get some pumps, which will add to his RBIs, but him batting down lower in the lineup is going to give him a little bit more opportunity to drive in some runs. And I have Ian Happ as my RBI leader for the Chicago Cubs this year. So, yep, that does it for our hitting predictions. Let's move on to our pitching predictions. Most wins from our pitching staff. Who do you have?
I'm going with the professor.
The professor.
Ooh, nice. You're taking him to class again.
That's
I
right.
like it.
Jake, what do you think?
Yeah, I've got to agree. I made my bold prediction yesterday that Hendrix was going to finish the season top 5 in NL Cy Young voting. So they like wins. So I feel really good about Strowman too. I think Strowman relies a little bit less. I think he's not really a strikeout pitcher, but more of a strikeout pitcher than Hendrix is. And that's the only reason why, I think that Strowman might be able to get on jams a little bit easier with strikeouts than Hendrix. But I made that prediction about Kyle. So he's my winningest pitcher on the Cubs this season.
Yeah, I saw your prediction online. I thought that was fantastic. Unfortunately, I went with Strowman. I'm riding the new hand. I like the new attitude. I think he's got to back it up, and if he does back it up, he's going to end up with the most wins. That was my thoughts.
So I consider myself more of a DC comic fan than a Marvel comic fan. And so I'm going to go with the Man of Steel, Justin Steele, with the most wins on the team. I feel like he is going to break out in a big way this year and set the tone for the pitching staff of getting the most wins. I feel like I like the way that they've kind of broken that up, that they've put Hendrix, Steele, and then Strowman. I think to begin the season, Steele's going to be kind of a little bit on a pitch count limit, maybe not getting. Hopefully he gets 5 innings so he can get qualified for a win. But I have my bold prediction, Man of Steel, Justin Steele, with the most wins.
Nice. I like it.
Most strikeouts. Jeffrey.
Marcus Strowman. That's what I'm going with.
Plain and simple.
It's all
Clean and simple. Just like Jeff's hair.
Yeah.
Clean and simple.
I think he throws gas, and I think he's going to have the most.
I am going to go with Steele. I agree with Mitch that I think there's potential for a big breakout. If he weren't injured, I would have picked Alzolay. But
Yeah.
I like Steele's upside. I like what he's shown in the spring. If he can rein in the control a little bit, I'll go with Justin Steele.
Nice. I don't know. I'm riding the Strowman train. I want to see that strut around the mound afterwards. So I think he's going to get the most strikeouts so we can all witness it, enjoy it, bask in the glory. Watch Contreras behind the plate just give a couple fist pumps every time. I like it. I went with Strowman.
So the leader in strikeouts for the Cubs last year was Kyle Hendricks. I like Kyle Hendricks, but I'm going to have to go with Marcus Strowman. I think he just has the strikeout stuff. I love Hendricks. He gets guys to beat it into the ground, hopefully a lot more than last year. But his off-speed stuff, I think, doesn't play to getting a high strikeout where Strowman does. So, but my second guess would have been Steele. Most losses in our pitching staff.
Oof.
Who's going to give up the early runs?
Have they released the starting 5 yet?
They have not released the 4 and 5.
I can give you the roster resource prediction 4 and 5s are Mills and Smiley, and I think that's what it'll be.
Yeah, there you go, Eric. Eric was asking me earlier who I thought would go 4 and 5. And
So
I wish Thompson would get a chance.
I do too.
He pitched really well the other day, but
he was looking sharp.
So I'm going to change my answer to what I wrote. I'm going to go with Alec Mills with most losses.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I'm with you, Jeff. I think I love the personality of Mills. I love the effort that he puts in and that he'll do whatever is asked of him. But I just don't have the most faith in the guy, man. I think it's a lot of smoke and mirrors, and he blew up a handful of times last season. And it's just, I don't think it's gonna play out this year.
He'll probably be the only pitcher to throw
a no-hitter.
A no-no, yeah.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I think Mills is going to get blown up, and then he's going to end up in the bullpen, which is why I actually picked Hendrix, because Hendrix has a little bit of that first inning bugaboo that sometimes catches him, and I don't know that it's going to – I hope it's not a high amount of losses, but I think he's going to have the most.
So last year, the most losses on the team was Adbert Alzolay with 13. With him being injured, and I think he's going to pitch a lot better this year, I don't think it's going to be him. The second was Zach Davies.
Oh, no.
Oh, God,
so
I forgot about Davies.
He had 12 losses on the year. He was 6-12. So, I mean, that would have been an easy choice. No, we just didn't re-sign him. But although I will say that Jake, I think, had a tweet early in the year, extend Davies that we
last year I did.
Last year
it was hot in April.
That we do have to have the receipt on for.
We keep receipts around here.
Somebody will find it.
So yeah, Twitter, do your thing. But I'm gonna pass that torch from Davies to Smiley.
Oh,
I feel like that's a perfect, easy transition of the torch. That Davies can just pass that to Smiley, and Smiley can lead the team in the loss column. Most saves. Now this is it. This is gonna be hard because
it's like center field all over again.
When you have a bullpen by committee, you don't really have, or a closer by committee, you don't really have a closer, and so it's tough. But who do you got being the leader in saves?
Rowan Wick, I guess. That's what I'm going with.
It's all right, Jeff. I like that pick.
I think that's what a lot of people would say, Jeff. I think a lot of people are on that train with you. I am not. I'm going to say Michael Gibbons. And here's the caveat. Michael Gibbons is going to shove in the first half. I don't know how he remained a free agent as long as he did. And side note, Richard Rodriguez of the Pirates, most recently, is still a free agent. And you look at his stats over his career, he's been a stud. I don't know why he's still out there. No one's addressed that. I needed to put it in the podcast, and I thought that was a good time to address it. Michael Gibbons will lead the Cubs in saves in the first half, but it'll be enough to be the leader for the entire year. He will get dealt at the deadline, and then the second half will kind of be a committee. Rowan Wick, Manny Rodriguez, and I don't know, someone else. Chris Martin, who knows? But Michael Gibbons is my pick.
So I was watching the game today, and they were talking about Rowan Wick when he came in, and they were talking specifically about how, I think it was Rick Sutcliffe was talking about, like, when he comes in a clean inning and pitches the entire inning, he's really good. When he comes in and things are a little dirty, there's some smidges on the bases or something like that, he really struggles. So I picked Rowan Wick. I think he's going to come in those later innings where he's actually going to have the opportunity to save the game. I don't know that he'll be the ninth inning guy, but I wonder if the game will be set by that point. So that's my prediction.
I'm going to get nutty. I'm going to go.
We sign Jake Arrieta and it becomes a lights out closer.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. Why not? No.
Well, careful.
Yeah, I know. Judd's listening.
One, because it's a surprise pick, but I am super excited because this boy just made his first major league roster.
Oh.
Ethan Roberts. I think he's got nasty stuff. I think he will kind of fall into a couple saves early in the year, like where we maybe blow a lead and he gets put in like the 10th inning or like the 9th inning late or something like that.
Okay.
And gets a couple saves in there. And then later, just because he's pitching really, really good, he has nasty stuff. He works himself into a closer spot. My second would be Gibbons, but I want to go crazy on this one.
That video of him getting the news was great. Yeah. Rossi, I need to shake your hand after you got hit in the hand.
Right.
Just shake my hand. You made the team.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I thought that was awesome.
And he just has nasty stuff. Dude, he is so good. I secretly was wanting him to not make the team, so he was down at Iowa, so I could get an interview with him. And I was like, okay, I already talked to Colin down the media relations at Iowa Cubs. I was like, hey, I want to get if he doesn't make the team, I want to get interviews. Like, all right, I got you. I'll get Ethan. I know Ethan from last year. I'll get him set up. I was like, so maybe we can still get him with the big league club. I'll use my connections, but that would be an interview. I'd love to talk to Ethan Roberts because he's a good guy and he's a stud. All right, most innings pitched. Who's gonna carry the load for this pitching staff this year? Jeffrey?
Kyle Hendricks. I went with him because he's not injured very often. And I would say probably 85% of his starts, he'll go 6. But there's some people that are going to get the hook at 5.
Yeah. You convinced me, Jeff. I was going to go Strowman, but the injury history, I don't know. I don't think Strowman's frequently injured. I feel like he's had like smaller things here and there, but you're right. Hendricks shows up every 5th day and he pitches. He goes like 5.
As hard as Strowman throws, he's going to develop some blisties and have to miss some starts.
The ballisties will get you. Kevin, what do you think?
See, and I think I think it's going to be like a 1-2. There's only going to be an inning or 2 difference between Hendricks and Strowman. So I'm going Strowman this time because he seems, and it's totally we're actually getting data on Strowman versus Hendricks, but he seems like he's fully stretched right now to go 6+. So I think he gets a few extra innings at the beginning of the season, and maybe that rides him out. That's my thought.
I bet he only leads by 1/3 of an inning at the end of the year. That's
man, that'd be pretty nuts.
Some say professors don't really do anything; they just have their teachers' assistants do all the work.
It's true.
Alec Mills?
But our professor is different. He's a team player. He puts in the work, leading the innings pitched last year for the Cubs with 181 innings pitched. I'm going with Kyle Hendricks. He's going to lead the team in innings pitched this year. All right. Who's going to get more starts? Mills, Thompson. I'm going to throw in Smiley or Steele. Who's going to get more starts?
I'm going with Justin Steele.
Wait. Let's put it in order. Out of the 4, who's going to – you got to go put them in order.
So I got
Steele,
Mills,
Thompson, Mills, or Smiley.
I'm going Steele, Smiley, Mills, Thompson.
I will quote that. I'm the same order.
Yeah, I totally agree. I agree with Jeff. My one caveat is I'm a little worried that nostalgia might ride hard in the ballpark, and they might give Mills a little bit more of a leash than he should have. But I hope this is where I'm going to stay hopeful, and that Steele still gets more starts than Mills. I'm
going Steele, Thompson, because I think
you're just wishing.
Nope. He's going to pitch really good to start the season, and then by the end of the season, they're going to go full youth and give him the chance to see what he's got. Then Mills, and then Smiley, because I'm predicting that Smiley's going to get hurt again.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Mm.
Well,
All right.
glass
That
is
injury
half
bug.
full.
Let's save the overall record till the end, and let's go with Ross ejections. How many times is Rossi going to get ejected this year?
4 ± 2.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to be like 3. I just feel like ejection with replay, I just feel like they don't happen that often anymore. Although with the new team, like a completely different squad, basically, like he wants to get the guys fired up. So I don't know. I'm still going to stick with 3.
Yeah, I went with 4 because I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking maybe like 2 might be legitimate, and I think 2 are going to be the fire the team up, get behind your young batter. Maybe Davies gets called out on a strike that's on the edge or something. He comes out there and just screams at the umpire and gets tossed just to let Davis know that he's got his back or something. So I'm going 4.
I'm going 5.
Oh,
All right, let's skip end of the season MVP. We'll do that one towards the end as well. Let's go to the date that Brennan Davis will get called up.
June 23rd.
June 23rd. Mark it down. June 23rd for Jeffrey.
And I am looking at the Cubs schedule as we speak.
Oh, I didn't even do that.
Oh, we
Just
start
pulled the number out of the air.
we start a homestand. I was gonna say like June 15th. We start a homestand June 13th against the Padres. Wait, what did you say, Jeff? You said
June 23rd.
23rd. Okay, I'm gonna say June 13th. I think it's going to be later than people are hoping, because we have so many options in the outfield that we've talked about. We want to give those guys run, and we want to give Davis enough time at AAA. How many at bats? He hit like 60-some at bats at AAA last year. Is that right? I just blew that out of my ass, but yeah, June 13th.
I don't know if you can say ass.
I'm going a little bit the other way. I'm going to say June 4th, and the reason is it's a doubleheader day at home versus the Cardinals.
Are you serious? You looked that up?
Yep.
What day? Say it again.
June 4th.
It's a doubleheader day.
It's a Saturday doubleheader versus the Cardinals. I think he'll get pulled up with the extra roster space.
But see, but they're going to want to keep him up when they call him up.
I know.
I like the prediction because a doubleheader against the Cardinals makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But then they got to keep him up, so maybe they send a bullpen arm down after the double. I like that, Kevin. That's good. That's good.
All right. So good things happened to me on this date. I married my beautiful bride, Lindsay, on this date, and I think future things will still be good to me. June 20th. June 20th. Mark it down. They play the Pirates, so why not bring him up to face the Pirates pitching? Yeah. Get him hot right from the get-go. June 20th.
I think it's bold you're comparing Brennan Davis call-up day to the day you get married. But I like it. You've been married for a while, so she probably won't take offense to that quite yet. But
I mean, it's like Cubs World Series, wedding day, like right.
Hey, can you hold those above the mic? We can't quite tell which one's above which.
I mean, my kids being born, they're all like right there. It's close.
It's just a flat line.
Yeah, it's so
it's more like a curb.
Yeah. The date Caleb Killian will get called up.
July 17th.
Interesting.
They do have a game against Atlanta. 120 game. Friday 120. Why not bring him up for that game?
Oh, man. See, Kevin,
Wait. That's June. Never mind. New York Mets.
Yeah. Now you're looking ahead, Jake.
I'm stealing your logic because I think June 4th makes sense as a timeline. I really think it does. And they're going to need another starter. And if things are going well for him at that point in the season, it makes sense to call him up for that start.
So,
Yep.
So I'm going to
I
say
think
June 4th for Killian.
for all
Yeah,
you
I think-
listeners out there, you can tell who the teachers are that do their homework, and the other ones of us that wanted to go jump our bikes on the street and pencil whipped it.
Yep, I have that being a big cookie day for all of us. We got Brennan Davis and Caleb Killian coming
That
up the
would
same
be
day.
huge. That would be sick.
They
It's
ride
also
the
at
same
that-
bus.
I think that's also a big deal for could be a big attendance day. Get everybody out excited. Saturday in June, just before as the weather's picking up.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Jake. That was my also prediction.
Hey, does it count if there's a rain out?
Ooh. No.
Like if they get called up and then it gets rained out. I
Yeah.
don't know how that works.
I can get us a rain out.
I think it's going to be a little bit later, just because I think Keegan Thompson is going to get the first starts if anything does happen.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with late July 25th again against Pittsburgh. Because why not?
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna have a start, that's another good one to go.
Go throw them in there against Pittsburgh or the Reds. Why not? All right, All-Star selection. Who will be the All-Star selection or selections for the Cubs? Because they do get an automatic selection. Every team gets a representative unless that representative gets hurt. And then it goes to anybody and everybody. So then it opens up to everybody. So if, let's say Frank Schwindel gets nominated and selected for the Cubs representative and he's hurt, then it doesn't necessarily have to go to another Cubs player. It can go to anybody else in the major leagues. But there does have to be a representative first. So who's going to be selected from the Cubs?
I picked Wilson and Strowman. So, how many people are going to be on this All-Star roster? Are they going to have enough innings to get everybody in?
Sometimes they don't. Sometimes not all
Right.
pitchers get in.
Wow.
Actually, I'd say most of the time, not all the pitchers get in.
Wow. All right. Yeah. I'm going Willie and Strowman. Jake?
Cubs fan Jess says Suzuki is going to be our All-Star.
Yeah, I think we're overlooking Suzuki in a lot of these predictions. I just don't know what to expect.
Serial Keller. Nice
Amazing.
Twitter name.
Yeah.
Great Twitter name. Frank the Tank, baby. Let's
Great
go.
or the worst.
Yeah, man, Suzuki would be sick. I think I'm gonna have to stick with Hap. I said Hap on a lot of these offensive categories for the predictions. I'd love to see Schwindel too. I just think that we've got three of the best. We got three of the best first basemen in the league in the NL. So he's got some tough competition there in Goldschmidt, Freeman, and now Matt Olson coming to the NL, and Pete Alonso. So I don't know. It's tough for Schwindel. I'd love to see him get the nod, but I think it's going to be Hap.
So, Contreras is always solid at the beginning of the season. I think Strowman is going to deal to start the season, so I'm throwing him in there. And I'm actually going to throw in Madrigal. I think he starts off really well, especially defensively.
Daddy liked that pick.
I
I didn't even think about Madrigal.
I think he gets some really good defensive plays that get highlighted on Sports Center and stuff to start with, and then his stick will play all the time. He'll always be on base. So those are my three.
Big brain right there. I like it. You know who was hot in the streets last year? Well, he's going to be hot in the streets again this year, and that's Uncle Frank. And Frank the Tank is going to be our 2022 All-Star selection. But I do think that since we are a Clint Frazier podcast, Clint Frazier is going to make the All-Star team as well. Clint Frazier, mark it down.
That'd be so rad.
That would be cool.
Just
Unfortunately, the outfield is so stacked across the NL. But yeah, I would love it. Yeah, just a big
make it as a
FU to the
DH.
Yankees.
Yep,
Yeah,
just to stick it to the Yankees. All right, let's jump back to overall record. Jeffrey.
All right.
Do some math. Do some quick math.
Yeah, 162 is what it's supposed to add up to.
I'm going with 81 and 81.
Ooh, interesting.
I mean, with the extra spots in the playoffs, they'll make it.
81.
I believe the over under the last I checked was 75 and a half.
Yep.
So I'll bet the over, but not by much. I'm going to say 78 and 84. I think there's going to be a little bit of selling at the deadline. Bullpen arms maybe, and that might make a difference. But although our bullpen depth is good. I don't know. I don't know if we're going to I don't want to expect a winning record. I'd rather be surprised by it.
Yeah, I was towing the line. I was looking at what the projections were. I wasn't 100% sure, and then I decided, no, I'm going to be positive. So I went 82 and 80. Just a little bit over winning for a record. I don't think they make the playoffs, though. I think there's enough other teams that there'll be enough third teams in the NL West and in the NL East or something like that. That's my thoughts.
Yeah. So my record is 79 and 83. And I want to pick more. I think even with the 79-83 season, it's still going to be a season where we're going to take a ton of big steps forward. And it's going to be a team where we're really going to enjoy watching this team. It's going to remind you of 2015 and watching that team, or 2014. I remember 2014 was a fun second half of the season to watch Cubs baseball. I think you're going to get kind of nostalgic and kind of get that feeling and really learn to, like, you're going to fall in love with these guys. Like, there's a lot of guys on this team that are really lovable. I've loved what the Cubs have done, have put out those videos of like the home. Right. So you get to know them a little bit personally. I think that's what Cubs fans were missing, because they felt like they knew Rizzo and Bryant and those guys so well. And now, like, after watching those videos and Marky's done a pretty good job of like highlighting people and allowing us to see their personality. Even with a 79 and 83 record, I think they're going to have, we're going to still have a lot of fun as Cubs fans. And we're going to really like this team going forward. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Agreed.
Yeah. So one more prediction. So we're getting ready to do our second annual Dinger Picks, where every day we pick who we think is going to hit a dinger on that day. When the person gets it right, the last person that gets it right in that game, or for the only person that gets it right in that game, he gets to pick first the next day. And then it trickles down. Last year, our winner was Kevin,
who has to take the rest of us out to eat.
I think
That's
you ended
not
up.
how that works.
Did you end up with like 30? I think you were like 38.
Yes. I don't know if it was quite that high.
Which is pretty good for a season. I mean, that's all-star quality numbers there, Kevin. Yeah. The 38 dongs.
Yep. I just signed my big free agent contract. I'm never going to repeat.
Yep.
I'm good.
So I was close. I came back towards the end.
You did.
Jeffrey was in way last, and then got hot when the temperatures got hot in July. Made a comeback, but then just fell off towards the end. Ran out of steam.
Really,
started picking Ortega every single day, and I'm like, guys, Ortega is not a home run hitter. Stop it.
With 3 weeks to go, I swear to God, with 3 weeks to go, Kevin was leading with like 32, and Mitch and I were like bouncing back and forth from being tied to him being one ahead. And then Kevin got hot right at the end.
Yeah.
Rode the hot bat, rode the wisdom bat for like 2 weeks there.
Yeah.
Well.
All right, let's get into. Well, I did ask Eric, because Eric follows our predictions really closely, and he said that Kevin is going to win again. He's going to repeat, and Jeff doesn't have a chance.
Well, I will predict that I do not repeat. I think I had a couple lucky streaks, I think, in there where I had the only home run hitter, and so I kept getting to pick first, and I don't think I repeat that.
Well, let's get into our Brewers series preview. This is the opening series. Yeah. I'm excited. We get to talk actual baseball and do our series preview. So the Cubs play the D-Gens from Upcountry, and I hate to say this, but they're pretty good. The Brew Crew, although they have not won a single playoff game since 2018. They've lost all their playoff series to eventual World Series champions, last year being the Atlanta Braves. But this team is good. They have added MVP Andrew McCutchen, although he is quite old, and they have traded Jackie Bradley Jr. away and got Hunter Renfroe. This team is a solid team. But let's get into the lineup. Jake is going to break down the offensive lineup that we have to look forward to in this series.
Yeah, I would say the Brewers are probably nationally and definitely amongst Cubs fans known for their great pitching staff, starting and bullpen. But let's not overlook their offense, okay? David Stearns has done a phenomenal job with the budget that he has in Milwaukee. And he made some great under-the-radar moves last season. And a couple this offseason that I really like too. I mean, obviously, I already talked about the McCutchen signing and the Renfroe deal. And McCutchen and Renfroe, I think, more than make up for, at least offensively, the loss of Jackie Bradley Jr. and Avisail Garcia. Garcia is definitely a better player than Renfroe overall. But I think the two of those guys, Kutch and Renfroe, add a little bit more depth offensively to the outfield while not suffering all too much defensively. I really like McCutchen. I think he hasn't had a single season with a WRC plus below league average. And I think at AmFam Field, he's going to be over his WRC plus of last season's 107. Right. And then Renfroe, I mean, he's a power hitter. I think he's going to continue to do that in a small park. Moving on a little bit, we got to take a look at the big, beefy baseball boys. Dan Vogelbach is gone and has joined the Pittsburgh Pirates. Yeah. And actually, Vogelbach had a decent,
terrible career move.
Didn't have a choice.
He gets to hit baseballs over the wall in right field and play at PNC Park. That's pretty nice. Yeah. But Rowdy Tellez takes over the big, beefy baseball boy role. And let me tell you guys, I think Tellez is going to be a stud. I can't claim coining that term. That's the CBS fantasy baseball guys.
The 4 Bs.
Yeah. But he's B cubed. But Tellez is a stud, you guys. He hits the crap out of the ball. Over the last 3 seasons, he finished in the top 6% or better in max exit velo with a low K rate to go with it. I think Tellez is going to really have a breakout season, getting a lot of the starts at first base and definitely DHing one or the other. But it all depends on Keston Hiura. I think Keston Hiura is a wild card for them this year. They worked in the offseason, shortening his swing and his big leg kick. And it's paid dividends in the spring, but his Ks may still be a problem. Overall, I think because they have Yelich and now McCutchen, I think the default is to look at the outfield and Kane, too. We can't forget about Lorenzo Kane still being there.
Right.
But the Brewers could sneakily end with the best infield in the National League across the diamond. Well, I think Yelich has had a decent spring. If his back stays healthy, he's gonna have all-star numbers.
And you haven't even talked about Willy Adames. Like
I was gonna say, yeah, that's where I'm getting. So this National League, I think they get the best. Maybe second to the Dodgers. Maybe I'm missing someone, but I think their infield could be the top 3 in the NL. First to third, you've got Hiura and Tellez with Matt Brasso off the bench, who is a sneaky power threat that they got from the Rays. Second base, you've got Colton Wong, who's going to give you solid offensive production, a solid average, and a great defensive glove. And then shortstop, Mitch, as you mentioned, Willy Adames. It's been talked about, it's been really beaten to death over the offseason, the difference that was made from him leaving Tampa Bay and Trop. He admitted that he couldn't see. The batter's eye was not good to him. And if you look at the home and road splits between when he was with the Rays versus on the road, his road numbers were markedly better and all-star, almost MVP caliber. And last year, actually, when he got traded to the Brewers, his home numbers continued to not be as good as the road numbers, but they were still better than they were with Tampa Bay. And I think there's room for positive regression there. I think it's such a hitter's park at AmFam Field. I think he's going to be a stud. And then third base, you're going to start the season with what's his name? We got him on the list here. It's not Luis Arias, but no, Arias he starts on the IL with a quad injury, so it'll be Tyrone Taylor probably, Jace Peterson. Jace Peterson will play third, who was a Cub killer last year. But Arias is he's got really great pedigree. He was a top prospect in the San Diego system before he got traded. And last season, he broke out quietly in a huge way in the second half to a 127 WRC plus, lowered his K rate by like 10% with a higher OBP and finished with an 850 OPS in the second half. So don't sleep on the Brewers offense. Their pitching is going to be the marquee feature for them all year, but they're going to put up offensive numbers too, and we got to keep an eye on that.
I don't know. Andrew McCutchen was always the Pirate that I watched and went, man, it really sucks that you play for the Pirates. Because he was a fun player to watch and everything, and now he's with the Brewers, and I'm like, crap, he's going to be a really fun player to watch play for the Brewers.
Yeah,
like
him and Yelich are hard to dislike.
Yeah, and Yelich got rid of his.
Seems pretty easy to dislike Yelich.
I think Yelich is a great dude. Great player.
You know who's really easy to hate? Ryan Braun, but he's not there anymore.
Right. That's true. Yeah.
I don't like Lorenzo Cain either, but
no,
he's fine. Yeah. Kevin, you got the pitching breakdown for us.
Prayed that Yelich would kind of maybe step on a sprinkler on his way to the dugout between innings and maybe tweak a little something, possibly. But
I don't know. He finally shook off the Dom curse. Did he wear the T-shirt or whatever, and made the Yu Darvish stuff kind of go away.
We'll see it. We'll see it.
Yeah, man. So I got to break down the pitching, which sucks. They're just disgusting. That it's ridiculous. I was looking at the numbers. I mean, their entire starting five didn't have an ERA above 3 or like just right at 3. I mean, just ridiculous. So you got Corbin Burns
on my fantasy team.
Right. Yeah. Really, unless this guy gets hurt, he's going to sting every time we face him. Like, it's not going to be great. Focuses on throwing his cutter mostly, but has 4 other pitches he mixes in. A curveball, a changeup, a sinker, and a slider. Outside the cutter, he uses the others about the same amount, so I don't envy being a batter stepping into the box against him.
That's where it's like opening day is like, I'm excited, but at the same time, you're like, in the back of your mind, you're like, we have to face Corbin Burns.
Right. Expect a one hit.
Wrigley against Corbin Burns is not a good
Expect at best 1 hit, and it's going to be like a weak single that just gets to the gap.
No, we're stacked full of contact bats. Nikki, 2 strikes is gonna be slapping it around. We're gonna be just manufacturing runs.
Nicky Barrels.
Nicky Barrels is gonna be just manufacturing runs.
There we go.
Oh, my
Unfortunately, in game 2, they're going to go up against Brandon Woodruff, which also disgusting. His ERA was below 3 last year. He's projected to tick up a little bit into the middling 3s, which yay, I guess. Throws mostly fastballs and sinkers, mixes in some cutters, some changeups, and some sliders. I don't know. Game 3 got Freddie Peralta. Just ugh.
There's no break. break.
No, it sucks. Freddie Peralta. Then you got Adrian. Was a Hauser? I don't know. Yeah. He's projected to sit up in the middle 4s, but I don't think it's going to matter by the time you get to the 4th starter. And then you got Eric Lauer, also projected to tick up a little bit. He throws mostly just a fastball, but he also has a cutter and a slider and a changeup. He mixes in just a little. And then you look at the bullpen and, just give up on the 8th inning and the 9th inning because you got Devin Williams, though he's a little injury prone, but he's got a wipeout changeup, just disgusting.
And then you got people say,
right. And then you got, Josh Hader. So I'm going to ignore him. The spot to potentially attack would be the middle relief and the long relief. And even then, they're not bad. They're just like the only place you potentially could attack. Unfortunately, if the goal is to grind out the starter, but the starter strikes out all your batters, it's going to be pretty rough. I do not look forward to facing the Brewers at all this season. I don't see. It's hard to look at their lineup overall and go, where do we hit? Where do we attack? Where are we going to score some runs? But we've also seen that before, and every so often we get on Josh Hader. We get a guy who blasts a home run when we're tied 1-1 or something.
Yeah, it was Jason Hayward.
Right? Well, he's going to get the early season starts, so maybe that helps us out.
We'll see.
I don't know. Do you guys have anything else? That's kind of how I... Thank you, Mitch.
It's tough, man. I think like Aaron Ashby too is their top prospect. He's going to end up in the rotation at some point this season. He's nasty.
Okay,
and it's really like Mitch. Yeah, go ahead.
When Ashby first got called up, do you remember what game that was? His first game.
The Arrieta game that Arrieta blew up.
That was the game that the Cubs got up like 9-0.
Oh no!
I think that was at that game.
And then the Brewers came back and like won by like 10. Like the Cubs were up 10 and then they got down 10 in like 2 innings. And you're like, what happened? That was the like downfall of the whole year. Like that was like the turning point of like, all right, everybody's being sold. Everybody's gone.
Right? Yeah, when you can't protect a 9-run lead.
Yeah, I was at the game the day before, and a similar kind of breakdown happened. It wasn't as dramatic, but then the next day, I just knew too that Arrieta was going to blow it. I knew it. I was like, 9-run lead, it's gone, and it was very quickly. Yeah, the Brewers are going to be tough this year, but hey, are we going to that April 30th game? We got to figure out those logistics.
Let's do it.
Yep.
Catch the Dingers crew coming at you live from AmFam parking lot.
Which it'll always be Miller Park to me.
Yeah, it feels so weird to say.
AmFam.
It feels so weird.
It's what? They changed the name of the stadium?
Yeah, the naming rights got relinquished from Miller. They didn't re-up them. Stupid.
Yep. Interesting.
So who's sponsoring it now?
American Family Insurance.
American Family Insurance.
Not an ad.
Yeah,
true.
But no. I mean, I am excited. I'm pumped that we get to watch Cubs baseball and we actually get to talk some baseball for the next 4 or 5 months, and it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a blast. But going into the series, it's gonna be rough. We're gonna face the 3-headed monster. They're our best 3, and it's going to be a different Cubs lineup than the past, where in the past years when we faced the Brewers, it's been a lot of Ks. And hopefully with the new look lineup that the Cubs are bringing forward, with a lot of contact bats and a little bit of balance and diversification in the lineup, that we see some manufactured runs and we see some good things happen. We got to trust kind of that will happen. But with Seiya and just different things, like I want just the Cubs Twitter especially, but Cubs fandom to be like, give grace. Like, man, like they're playing with each other for the first time. It's a different looking lineup. Enjoy that we get to watch baseball again. And I do want to say this, and I know we've run long, but I've listened to like a sports radio show that's locally here, and I've listened to some other podcasts, and I constantly hear people talking about like that nobody's talking about baseball, and when it is, it's talked in a bad light. And it's like, you guys, you're the one talking in a bad light about it. Like, quit talking about all the negatives with baseball and spread some baseball positivity and talk about the games. Get excited that baseball is going to be happening. Like, you want people to get excited about opening day, then be excited about it yourself and talk about it. Like, that's how you get the next generation of fans to fall in love with baseball, is you show them how beautiful the game is. And so,
it's unfortunate because the NL Central and the AL Central aren't super strong this year, but both the AL and NL West and East are going to be like bloodbaths, great games to watch all the time. Which it's like, yeah, we live in Central US. We're going to watch mostly the Central teams, but there's a lot of really good baseball teams out there, and I think it's going to be interesting to watch all those great players take the field.
And a lot of exciting young players. Like we got, like, there's going to be, you have the Vlad Guerrero Juniors, you have the Fernando Tatises, even though he's injured, you have the Shoheis, you have the Seiya Suzuki's, you have these young guys that we can get excited about. So do that. Like, please, like, the next generation of fan needs us to be excited. Like our parents were excited to watch baseball. So do that. Like, please, like, get excited for opening day and wear your baseball cap, wear your jersey, get excited, and carry that on for the season. So we can raise up some good Cubs fans and good baseball fans in the future.
I love it, Mitch. Good message. Good message.
Yeah. You got anything else? If not, that does it for episode 73 of the Dingers podcast. Go follow us on Twitter at Dinger Cubs. And let's get a W on Thursday, and let's get a series win.
I love it. Love it.
All right.
Those are all projections, folks. We can take it.
Yep. All right. Thanks for listening to the Dingers podcast.
Good night, John Boy.